Massive anti-Trump protests expected Saturday in DC and across the US. And it's supposed to be starting at 1 p.m. EST. So 10. So in like an hour, it's supposed to begin. Can you turn on the caption options on Twitch? I have no idea how to do that. If mods can do it, I would appreciate it. So yeah, I want to take a look at that. North Carolina threw out like 65,000 votes for the Supreme Court case, I think.
Been a while since I've kept with this. I watch segments on YouTube, but I had to be here to compliment the new hair. You rock.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Lol Overruled is going, cool. Okay. I mean, I think that there's still time to go for any chatters that are in the DC area. You should still be able to. Okay. So we want to do that stuff. We have a lot of stuff to do on that, talk about on there. If we have time, I don't think we'll have time. Maybe we'll have it for Sunday Fun Day tomorrow. I know Sam went on the PPD podcast and the Valuetainment guys. So I think it'll be good to get into. First and foremost, this video, dude, I didn't mean to close that. What the fuck? What the fuck world are we living in where the president can tweet out, the Houthis gathered for instructions at an attack. Oops, there will be no attack by these Houthis. They will never sink our ships again. And they are showing like black and white drone footage of a bunch of people in Yemen gathering. Right now it's suspected to just have been an Eid celebration, by the way. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Klinsky also covered it. And I've seen multiple sources talking about that it was like just a tribal celebration. And also, again, there was no proof. There's no proof that these are Houthis. And also, I haven't seen the evidence that
Happy Subiversary.
Trump has procured that talks explicitly about the fact that the Houthis are sinking our ships. I love this peaceful dove. I love this peaceful dove president. Sorry for my ignorance with a Houthi. It is a designated terrorist organization that a lot of their work has been in blockading goods and services to Israel. But they are a designated terrorist organization that the U.S. has to strike down, except they didn't provide any evidence or proof that these are terrorists, which is good. I'm sure Fox News' coverage of this is very good. Have they covered it yet? They have to have, right? Maybe they haven't. I'm sorry, I just saw this fucking thumbnail as I was looking. Laura Ingraham, Democrats are fueling the panic. Ignore the Dow doomsdayers. Okay. It's not like Trump himself said that if a president drops the Dow by 500 points in a day, they should immediately resign. Okay. All right. Good. It doesn't look like they've put any segments up on this. What the fuck are you talking about? So just because they don't share the classified intel with random streamers means it wasn't a legit terrorist target? I think as Americans, regardless of whether you're a streamer or not, I don't know why you brought that part up, I would hope that when they publish
Good morning, everyone.
video
Steve,
footage
your
of
new hair looks so pretty. Now let's all ignore the Dow.
I would hope that you feel like your government respects you enough to at least do a press conference where they talk about and bring up which particular Houthi terrorists those were and like how they were able to find this information without immediately giving up classified intel or information. You should expect your government to say, hey, we got rid of like this particular general and the people serving under him. So, we don't get stuck in more forever wars. Like, how are you as an American supposed to be able to know whether or not these are actual terrorists or if we're just bombing innocent people? I mean, we're literally deporting people for having gang tattoos only to later be discovered that they weren't gang tattoos. And you think you should blanket trust Trump? Like, you're the idiot here. To see a state that has innocently killed people over and over and over again, time and time and time again, and then say, this time I trust them, okay? They listen, all right? They wouldn't lie this time. Okay? You really think that the president would lie? He's literally never done it before. What? The DOD claimed to be the most transparent, and they aren't even announcing the number of strikes. They're just releasing war porn on a daily basis to help promote Trump's stonk. Like, sorry, I have a healthy skepticism of my government, and I expect them to be able to release...
Trump heard 11 say, what's wrong with lower prices, and got to work.
And release documents, or at least release statements about the names of which terrorists were tracked down and killed. Eye on Palestine shows a photo of the group from on the ground. Really? Let me see. One sec. Also, like, man, knowing that, like... One second. How do I get rid of this? God damn it. Trump posts video of Yemen strike as cost of bombing Houthis nears $1 billion. U.S. campaign against Iran proxy group has cost hundreds of millions and shows no sign of letting up. Are you not at all, like, concerned that we're getting involved in burning money for no reason instead of improving the lives of Americans? Aren't you guys supposed to be like the America First people? Do you know what we could do with $1 billion in America? But we trusted Obama when he did it. Do you think we trusted Obama? We call him the drone strike president, dude. No, actually. No. Okay, one second. Dude, you know it's bad when even like Ynet is saying that all the money that America's spending isn't good enough. Trump shares video claiming U.S. strike foiled planned Houthi attack. Rebels say video showed strike on tribal gatherings. U.S. officials admit costly campaign has done little to curb Houthi attacks on ships. Do you know how bad it is when fucking Ynet is saying, yeah, they're wasting all their money and they're not doing shit? Let me see if I can find the post that you were talking about. Obama was constantly criticized for drone strikes, including secrecy and civilian death toll. Yeah, I mean, this is, how long ago is this from? Damn, is it supposed to look like this? I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to explain myself to you guys. You guys already know this. Let me pull up, one sec. You said it was the Eye on Palestine page? This is a leftist chat room, or right. Most of Twitch is far bleeding leftist. I'm actually a dark woke MAGA. I don't know if that's too crazy for you. U.S. President Trump announced strikes targeting Houthis in Yemen. In reality, it was a tribal gathering of Yemeni men on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. I've been working for the federal government since I was 18 in one way, shape, or form. This stuff is sickening. First off, since the attack on the screen... First off, ever since the attack on the USS Cole, the U.S. has been bombing this group. It doesn't work. Second off, because we've been bombing the Houthis for so long, do people really think that they would just be sat in an oval out in the open in that number? I just like... It's sad that like Americans are so easily tricked by misinfo and disinfo. Like you think that, one, we need to bomb all these hospitals because the secret evil terrorists are so evil that they need to hide and put military complexes and command centers under these hospitals. But also B, that they're happy to just like parade around in large numbers. If it were up to me, Yemen would be a fucking mushroom cloud. Are you starting to understand why 9/11 happened when people like you exist? When 9/11 too happens because people like you exist, just don't look surprised, man, okay? Because I don't know how to tell you this. It's not that they hate our freedoms. It's that people like you exist. Lick my balls. I would if I could see them, man. Sorry. Lay off the roids, bro. Okay. So yeah, that's good, right? It's good when our government just bombs random groups and then tells us that they're terrorists, and we tell them, okay, sure. The really good part about this, I saw other angles of this exact photo, but there's like children in these photos. You don't understand. They were going to become terrorists. How do I know? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can see kids on the far end of the oval. I don't understand how cucked you have to be to just like everything Trump says. You're like, he's got to be, he would never lie to us. He would never lie to us. He would never, ever, ever lie to us. And they have to be terrorists. Famously, the U.S. has never invaded places on false pretenses. And famously, the U.S. would never do anything wrong or bad ever. Okay. We're maybe 2 months away from the U.S. government tweeting out infrared snuff videos that would have been a WikiLeaks scandal 15 years ago with a bunch of cry laugh emojis. Correction, 2 weeks. Yeah. Oh, he left after I said that. He was banned? No, he wasn't. If he was banned, it would have shown who banned him. And it would have shown in mod action. He wasn't banned. He just left. He just couldn't handle the heat. Oh, God. Anyways. Fucking Christ. Sorry. Just a quick little treat, can I just watch this Laura Ingraham section?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Now, if you have been checking your 401k, maybe obsessively, over the last few days, it's understandable that the steep decline has you worried. The market slide is real, but it is also temporary. And the people I trust are right when they urge you to hang tight, do not panic sell. But of course, the Democrats, who we know are incapable of raising the standard of living of middle-class Americans, their only response is to fuel the panic.
Dude, being Trump news. Dude, sorry, it's the Trump news. Imagine being Fox News and saying that CNN and MSNBC are only good at fueling panic.
We've seen close to 8 or 9% of the stock market drop. That means a lot of people's retirement plans are going out the window.
Also, notice that they removed their stock ticker. Yeah, I know that they had it up for fucking 3 decades, and then, oh my God. fucking Jesus, sorry.
In the markets again today.
For families, for small businesses, for small farmers in my state, this is devastating.
But yet, Fox had the ticker on for 28 years straight and then decided, actually, we're going to remove it.
And of course, they were quick to dismiss at the same time that gangbusters job number that came out today, which beat expectations at 228,000 jobs created in March. Remember, that's without the tax cut that's coming.
You mean without the taxes that are coming? Guys, one of the biggest not false flags, but one of the biggest bullshit numbers, by the way, is the total number of jobs created. It doesn't actually, first of all, besides the fact that the number and the way that the methodology of getting that number is on shaky ground, besides that, the reality is the number of jobs that are created in a country or created in a particular month, it's not a good measure of, one, economic health, and two, average standard of living. What percentage of those jobs were low-paying jobs that people had to take on as a second job to be able to pay their rent? What percentage of those jobs were gig economy jobs? How many of those jobs that were created were people signing up for Uber to start driving because they need to get another job to pay? Because when I say job about Uber driving, not that I don't think it's valid work, but rather that it's bullshit that they call that a job, because you don't get medical benefits. You don't get the benefits of being an employee because you're considered a contractor. You don't get compensation in any way for the destruction of your vehicle or like just the wear and tear for your vehicle. You don't get like a 401k for it. Not that it matters now, but you guys get what I mean. Not that it isn't valid work, but rather that it's bullshit that that we even call it a job.
But
how many are rehires from mistaken Doge layoffs?
I have to tell you, when you hear the usual suspects predict the worst or claim that Trump's approach is ruinous, well, remember this. These were many of the same people who told Americans to be patient when China began to devour our manufacturing sector. So why would we ever take economic advice from them? They told us that China would become more open, more free, less of an adversary if we allowed them to join the World Trade Organization back in 2000. And they certainly waved off concerns regarding American industries. They weren't going to shrink. Who cares, they said. I mean, after all, it's only going to be what, made in China? Happy Meal toys and Nikes, maybe?
Oh, it's so scary. Quick, put on the scary China B-roll. Oh, so scary. Their military is marching.
Well, you fast forward to today, and here's where things stand. America has gone from being the dominant exporter of steel to number 4 in exporters behind China, Canada, and others. And now, if we do nothing, China will dominate in everything from tools, computers, solar panels, shipbuilding.
Are they actually doing the do nothing? China wins? Wait, first of all, it's too late. It's already happened. But also, is Fox News actually doing this? China already dominates in all of these fields. They've been dominating on solar panels for forever. They've been dominating on technological advancements, on medical advancements. They've been able to successfully reduce the cost of homes, which everyone thought was impossible. Like, it's just nonsense. Like, I'm sorry, objectively, one of the coolest things that's come out of China in the past, I would say, 5 years is a reasonable treatment for Alzheimer's, which is something that globally we've been trying to work on for how many years? 5 decades? More. And they have created a successful treatment, a microsurgery that helps basically flush out, I think it's like your lymph nodes, because we always thought that it was a neurological problem, but we're starting to believe that it's like there's a bigger problem. It's not a neurological problem. And they have managed to successfully come up with treatment that is effective, like cutting edge.
Building, drones, satellites, and yes, of course, pharmaceuticals. Now, don't even get me started on what China is doing with artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and biotech. So Trump's economic reset, it comes after 30 plus years of disastrous economic policy that made a small subset of America very, very rich, while the middle class fell further behind.
Nobody was crying these crocodile tears when they were closing the Mound Road engine plant that Chrysler had in Macomb County, or the Romeo engine plant in Romeo, Michigan. Now that we're trying to bring these products back, these components and these vehicles back to the United States, all of a sudden, all the so-called experts are saying it's going to plunge us into recession and be terrible for the economy. If they're crying, I think we're doing something right.
As for the
You guys like my goblet? It's just an energy drink in here, by the way. But I feel very cool drinking an energy drink out of this. Anyways, the worst part about this as well is no one was sounding the alarms or whatever is not even true. The people that were sounding the alarms on jobs and job manufacturing and just production in general going to China were people on the left that talked about how antitrust laws being focused on consumers and the protection of consumers was a bad call, and antitrust laws should be equally focused on workers. This is currently something, well, I don't know if it's going to happen anymore, but it was currently something that Lena Khan was working on regarding Amazon. That Amazon, you might be able to get the cheapest stuff at the most convenience, but it engages in a lot of bad practices against workers and business owners that are bad for the general economy because workers are being fucked over, which is bad for economic health. So it's insane to be like, oh, actually, all of you were so okay with this, and suddenly now you're not. It's like, what are you guys talking about? What? No. Damien. Notice, by the way, they complain about the factories, but never mention who's bringing them up now that tariffs are up. Yep. Oh, is this the... Ooh, wait, can we do some protest coverage?
The men and women of the blue, not the planners of the coup. Trump and Elon Musk, hands off Greenland. That's an independent country. Hands off Canada. That's an independent country. Hands off Panama. That's an independent country. Statehood for Washington, D.C. And let's say with the people of Washington, free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. I want to say a special hello to people across America, but especially the people of Wisconsin. They showed America that organized people who want nothing but freedom can defeat organized billionaires who want nothing but presidents have issued 56 preliminary injunctions and TROs against this lawlessness.
Why does it look so crunchy? Why does
colleagues now want to
What does this live stream look like? Look like it's carved in fucking limestone.
impeach the judges like Judge Boasberg, the chief judge of the D.C. District Court. My friends, we're in the fight of our lives, but I want to tell you this. We are winning now. We are winning every day. We are winning in court, where 39 judges appointed by 5 Republican and Democratic presidents have issued 56 preliminary injunctions and TROs against this lawlessness.
Is this what winning feels like? I don't feel like I'm winning.
My MAGA colleagues now want to impeach the judges like Judge Boasberg, the chief judge of the D.C. District Court. Yesterday, he ordered the return of Kilmer Garcia, a legal resident of the United States.
Do you think a focus on Trump being the root of all our problems will leave actual progressive policy dead in the water after he's gone? It depends how long and how much fucked up shit Trump does in the process. I think it's plausible. I don't think it has to happen.
The administration was forced to admit that his deportation was without due process and was, quote, an administrative error.
Oh, he admitted it. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm so black-pilled on this.
But get this, then Trump said, well, c'est la vie, Mr. Garcia would have to stay in that torture facility because the U.S. no longer had custody over him. But Judge Boasberg told him that if you've got the means to unlawfully deport someone, you find the means to bring them back. So bring them back, bring them back, bring them back, bring them back. So now they're calling Judge Boasberg a radical left rogue judge. The problem is...
Oh, dude, I'm too black-pilled. I'm too black-pilled. Can I be honest? We need more radical behavior. Like, it has to be greater than this. It has to be more than just, oh, well, he did something wrong and then he admitted it. Like, we should be seeing, like, mass striking around the country. Like, we need to see what France does, where they literally, everyone just refuses to fucking go to work and just riots all day and all night for weeks. And getting the fucking Trump orange man to say, well, I was wrong about this, I don't think is good enough. I did want to see what
Israel is currently enacting its final solution on the Palestinian people in Gaza. After numerous ceasefire violations on March 18th, Israel finally unilaterally ended it with a record-breaking child-killing massacre. Since then, Israel has killed over 1,000 Palestinian people. It has bombed schools, shelters, medical clinics, residential buildings, and water treatment plants. Israel is summarily executing paramedics, decapitating babies, and destroying everything in its wake. Israel is also once again invading Gaza and establishing mass killing fields. All of these crimes are being committed with weapons from the United States, impunity from the international community, and silence from the Western media. There's no end in sight, and things are only set to get worse unless people do something to stop it. There's a protest tomorrow, Saturday, April 5th, at the White House. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Pennsylvania and 3rd Street, which is right here, right outside the White House. It's pretty hard to miss. This protest has been endorsed by over 200 organizations across the United States, and it's supposed to be huge. If you live nearby, show up. There are a bunch of buses available from all sorts of cities, and many of them still have seats. If the buses in your area are full or unavailable, you can sign up to drive your own vehicle and bring others with you. If you do have a vehicle and are able to drive it and have room, please do that. I live across the country, but last minute decided to fly so I can be there tomorrow in hopes that this might encourage some of you to join. Go to marchforpalestine.org/bus or click the link in the description. See you tomorrow, maybe. It's at the White House.
That's good on him. It's very cool. Unfortunately, as you might imagine, Fox News is already trying to twist it.
That at the end. Get in there, police. Please do your job. All right, so much for free speech. On college campuses, protesters tore down this conservative group's tent before an event at UC Davis. The group says that the demonstrators also ripped down the banners, smashed their foam boards, and tried to steal a laptop and an iPad from the group. Brandon Tatum was a guest speaker at this event. He is a Turning Point USA contributor. He's a former Tucson.
Won't someone please think of the tents? Oh, won't someone think of the tents? Oh, the horror. Oh, I'm shedding so many tears right now.
Police officer who became very popular on social media because of his conservative law and order views, and he has millions of people who follow him. Brandon Tatum, good to have you with us today, sir. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
So the university basically said, look, nobody was hurt. This isn't a big deal. And we do everything we can to protect free speech on campus. Is that true?
That's the biggest lie and sack of crap that I've ever heard in my life. They could not protect us, and they were.
Guy wearing a Doge shirt. That's the biggest lie I have ever heard in my life. Really? Really? Really?
We're not giving any real effort to thwart these people who came from God knows where. We don't even know if these were students. They were completely masked. They came and assaulted people. They tore up everything. They stole property. And then they not only did it once, they came back twice. So all the police officers had every identifying marker that these people were going to be violent, and they still didn't do anything. And thank God I was there and others who stood up to them, or we would have all been getting beat up and injured, when they are supposed to protect us, and we are allowed or should be allowed to have the freedom of speech on campus.
Yeah, of course. What did you say in the back and forth? And could you tell with
Dude, I love when conservatives insult people because they're not allowed to curse because cursing is against God or some shit. Continue to deport this communist invasion of America. Go continue to fudge up your homeland. I'm so scared. The guy who can't say fuck. No.
these students, or was this group sent in from somewhere? I know you said that you've spoken a lot of campuses. You've never been part of anything like this before.
Fudge you.
Yeah, most campuses people are peaceful. It clearly was a coordinated group. They were all dressed the same. They had bicycles.
I love this. It's the coordinated Antifa group. They're coming to get us. Even though we were counter protesting.
Things to conceal their identity. They came from out of sight. They weren't even on the campus.
I like that it says that he's a former Arizona police officer, as if we needed an indicator. Like, we can see the thumb phrenology, dude.
Campus mall where we were at, they came from somewhere else. They came and did their dirt, and then they retreated, never to be seen again. And all of the rest of the students, although some of them were delusional, they still were reasonable, and they did not attack people. So this was a coordinated effort. And the thing that bothers me—
attacking people, and the video is like a guy hitting an object. They're attacking people! And he's hitting like a box of stuff.
The most, Mark. Why did the police officers not do anything? It's almost as if I'm the only cop there. They didn't do anything to stop this. They saw them punch people.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
didn't.
It must be so frustrating for you as a former Tucson police officer when you see these other police officers. And as I said in the intro, when I hear that, the guy who's just standing by, he's like, get in there. Aren't you guys going to do a little something to stop these people from destructing this property? We have a list of all these Ivy League schools, government funding being cut. There's word that Brown University is going to lose $500 million in grants.
You don't understand. When he said they attack people, he meant it loosely, like they were attacking people. This stuff.
And research money. So UC Davis, do you think they were concerned about this? They put out that statement saying, free speech is super important to us. Like, don't come here.
I don't think they're very concerned about it because they didn't really do nothing about it. We were talking to the administrative people and we were saying, can you protect us? Are you going to just let these people bludgeon us? And then the police officers, or somebody's telling them to stand down. I mean, they're there, they're ready.
Cops not stepping in to help people? I'm shocked.
Go, but they're not going to engage. I asked them specifically, if they come back, are you guys going to use force against them to prevent them from hurting people at this table? I mean, I literally had to tell the police officers, if they come back to the table, I'm going to defend the people who are here. We're not just going to let them beat us up. And they didn't give me a clear answer. They stood there in preparation to do nothing. I guess their visible stature would be a deterrent, which is not really realistic. They have to be able to use force. And there's somebody that's telling them, I don't know if it's the chief, I don't know if it's the university. They're saying, allow people who you cannot identify to come onto campus with weapons and attack people and do nothing.
And attack people. And the attacking people was people ripping down the Turning Point USA signs. So it's okay to destroy property. I mean, are you asking if it's legal? Because it's not legal to destroy property. I would say it's pretty based if you destroyed, if you burned like a swastika, like a Nazi flag or some shit. I think that'd be pretty big. It's still illegal to do if it's somebody else's property, but I would think it's pretty fucking based. Not all property is treated equally. Some property is worse to have than other property. And also things that are illegal, legality does not equal morality.
Think about it. They didn't even pursue to arrest anybody. They just watched them do it and they let them go.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
Yeah, I can see that.
I literally wanted to defend every single person there, but I didn't want to
defend every single person there. And what does that look like, sir? What does defending every single person there look like? You mean the way that Israel says we have a right to defend ourselves?
These universities, you can't
That's
have
not what I wanted.
I'm sorry. You can't be educated if you aren't exposed to a lot of different viewpoints. And that is what universities are supposed to protect, free speech on their campuses. And so these people should have, at the very least, been reprimanded. We're glad that nobody was hurt in this situation, but clearly it was...
I like how he's been saying, they were attacking us. They were attacking people. And then the host says, I'm glad no one was hurt.
Destructive of property. And Brandon, thank you very much. Brandon Tatum, good to have you with us today, sir. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And
I am Brian Kilmeade. I know. Want to
And
say
the social security offices that they're trying to close down. And if anybody was slow to wake up to this authoritarian takeover, nobody's sleeping now, and nothing is going to stop the forces of democracy and freedom in America.
Nothing? I know a guy in office who would disagree. This is currently, I want to switch back to the live feed.
Hopeless. They want us to feel alone in our concerns. Are we alone? Are we helpless? Hell no. Are we hopeless? No, because when we come together, we are powerful. And thank you for being here today. Look, Trump and Musk, they're doing everything to consolidate their power. You know that. You know that. They're firing tens of thousands of federal employees. They're threatening to get rid of more. They're trying to eliminate the Department of Education, leaving students, parents, and teachers out in the cold in favor of making their billionaire backers richer and richer. And now they're attempting to silence our neighbors in the workforce all across the country by taking away their voice on the job. Are we going to stand for that? But as we know, the working people united will never be divided, will never be defeated. And you're about to hear from some incredible leaders of unions here today. We'll be joined alongside with working people who've been directly affected at the hands of Trump and Musk. They're not just fighting for their members, they are fighting for all of us, folks. So please give a big, hearty welcome to the stage AFL-CIO President Liz Shuler, NEA President Becky Pringle, National Nurses United President Kathy Kennedy, NFFE President Randy Irwin, and AFGE President Everett Kelly, along with their members.
Yeah! Wow, what a beautiful sight. Thank you so much. I'm Liz Shuler, President of the AFL-CIO, America's Unions. And I'm so honored to be here with all of you and with all of our labor activists and leaders here to bring the voice of not just our 63 unions and nearly 15 million workers, but of every working person in this country. So listen, this administration wants us, they want us to think that these cuts are about a bunch of bureaucrats, that these cuts don't matter to workers and families across the country. Well, I'm up here today next to workers who are the human face of what is going on.
I mean, I want to not feel delusional, and I want to feel like when people fucking sign on to their favorite TV show, which, like, dude, if you watch Benny fucking Johnson as your favorite TV show, you might be too cooked, to be honest. But I want to believe that people see this shit, at least other conservatives who don't maybe watch Benny Johnson, that they see something like this and that they recognize that they're on the wrong side.
How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. Losing money costs you nothing. This is just the reality of life. You're gonna, like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact, you learn a lot of lessons, actually, by losing money.
It costs you nothing to lose money.
Losing your character costs you everything. Losing your country costs you everything. There are things you can't get back. The government can print more money, and it will. Sadly, that's just the reality. It's fugazi, it's fugazi. It's just that there's a boom and a bust every 10 years, and it's been that way since the invention of modern markets in the 1600s. The Dutch crash of 1649. You ever heard of it? It's just the way that it works. It's the way that, like, monetary policy has always worked. There's going to be ups and downs, especially as the table gets reset. If you lose the character of your country, if your town gets hollowed out. Give me that photo of that town, man. Give me the photo of that town in West Virginia. If your town gets hollowed out and your entire neighborhood gets addicted to opioids and your steel mill shuts down and your farmers can't grow crops and there's no more cattle ranchers, there's no more cowboys, there's no more fishers, there's no more workers, and we're completely and totally dependent upon slave labor peasants across Asia
I think his brain might be worse than other brains.
Make every good and service and pharmaceutical, then you've actually lost your country. And then we are the slaves. There you go. This is West Virginia. And it's so sad that this was a factory that provided thousands of honest, good-hearted, steel-working jobs for our fellow countrymen.
China did this. Me when I don't include regulation at all. Me when I think the free market is the best. Me when I believe in the invisible hand. Me when I let the government do nothing because the government doing stuff is socialism and doing too much stuff is communism. How could China do this to us?
And it was ripped. The guts of it got ripped out and shipped by people like Mitch McConnell so that
Mitch McConnell, okay.
They could make a couple extra points in their portfolio to get stock swaps with Pan-Asian countries, and they sold out their countrymen, and I call that traitorism, actually. I think that's the definition of a traitor. You can lose money. You can lose points in your portfolio. It costs you absolutely nothing. You won't miss them when you're dead. Nobody ever had their net worth carved onto their tombstone. It doesn't even matter when you're on your deathbed. Who cares? It's just digits on a ledger. What will matter is, did you preserve your nation for your children? Did you view your country as something more than just an economic zone and tax cattle and slaves to China?
Slaves to China.
Put that up, President Trump. No crying in the casino. Is it really? I don't care. It's too good. Final point I'll make on this is, who's the slave and who's the master? You know, if your pharmaceutical and automobile and phone.
Why is he trying to talk like this and pretend like he's saying some crazy deep shit?
All the wires in your home, in your home, if everything that you use in your life is wholly and totally built by a foreign power that hates you, then you're the slave. You've always thought of America as the master of the world or as like an empire. But it's not. Not if we are totally dependent and on our knees before these third world goblin dictators.
Who is this for? Who is this for? It feels like he's making e-boy content for women, but I don't know any women that would ever spend their time watching this. To which I ask, again, who is this for?
So it's time for a total reset. It's time for them to know who's boss, and it's time for us to be the master once again. That's the point of this country, actually, to be the master of our own destinies.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. Excellent. Good. We went from expensive eggs are a national crisis to losing money costs you nothing. See, this is why I consume slop, guys. Okay, this is why I have to consume slop. This is why slop is the only thing that keeps me sane. Because I can't. My brain can't handle knowing that there's at least one person out there that watches this show. No, this is not slop. This is not slop. Ethan Klein is slop. This is why I consume content like Ethan Klein's, because my brain can't handle the idea that there's even one person that watches Benny Johnson's show and is like, this guy gets it. Like, I can't live in the same world as those people. I don't want to live in the same world as those people. I don't want to believe that I live in the same world as those people. But that's also why we're going to have a little bit of Saturday fun day right now, okay? Aiden Ross's confused reaction to his stocks crashing is so funny. Was there a clip of that I missed? Let me see. That's really funny. Works to get Trump elected. Is confused when Trump has policies. What the hell? What do you mean? What? How? This can't be Trump's fault. This must be somebody else's fault. Why did Biden do this? Oh.